everyone. Bernie Wall here with another video in the IELTSLearningTips.com series. And I'm going to do today, you probably noticed the last two videos were about the importance of involving, if at all possible, a teacher in your IELTS study process. And today I want to just talk a little bit more about that. Obviously, I have a vested interest because I am myself an IELTS teacher, but I do feel that it's imperative, particularly in certain parts of the test, like the writing, that you do have some teacher input so that you can be absolutely certain that you're going to get the score that you want. Writing in particular is very difficult to do without having some sort of expert advice on whether you're on track and doing the right things. So that's why in the third of the videos I'm doing about getting some professional help, I want to talk to you about a particular phenomenon that tends to happen when students are studying, not just IELTS, but any subject at all. So I'm just going to share my screen and we'll go through a few points, and then hopefully this might inspire you a little bit. So there is a saying, I've put it's the law of nature because actually it does happen like this, but there is a saying that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And I've seen this myself over and over. And so it could be that this might be happening to you or may have already happened to you. But it is, as I mentioned before, a well-known saying. And generally, this happens in these sort of circumstances. You may have been trying hard, you may have taken the test a few times, and you feel enough is enough. It's not happening, it's not working. Or it could be that you're stuck and you don't know where to go. Maybe you haven't taken the test, you don't feel ready for the test, but you're not sure what you should be doing to make sure that you are. Or it could be that even though you're practicing reading every day and you've done all the readings that you can find, you're still not getting your score. The same could be with the listening or the speaking or the writing. You might be stuck completely, not making progress. Or you might be getting towards your exam date or a particular deadline, say to submit for a master's or PhD, and you still don't feel that you're ready, but you need to take the exam at a particular date. Or you might just feel completely lost, that you're going round in circles and things are not changing. And the very first student I ever worked with online, not in a classroom, was an Egyptian doctor, and he sent me one single message which said, "Please help me, I'm desperate." And that's what started me being an online teacher as opposed to a classroom teacher. So you may feel just like that student, who now I have to say is working as a doctor in Australia. So you may feel like that. But suddenly, amongst all this, you see an article, a post or a video, maybe this one that I'm doing now. Or you get an email or a message from a teacher, maybe somebody that you know or you worked with before. Or you suddenly land on a teacher's website and you see that there's a possibility there. Or somebody recommends a teacher to you. So often when we're in this situation, we don't know what to do next, we don't know how to change things, we don't know how to move forwards. Something like this happens and you have an answer, at least something that you can pursue and explore a little further to see if it's going to work for you. So I want to flip a little bit and talk about DIY. So DIY is do it yourself, and a lot of students struggle along with DIY IELTS. And this is the kind of thing that happens. So YouTube is the main place that people go to, and that's good because there's a lot of good information on YouTube. I have my channel here, so do lots of other teachers, but please be aware that this is information. It isn't practice. It's only how to. You still have to do the work. You can find videos not just about IELTS, but about all kinds of things. And it's a really good resource. And I've learned lots of wonderful things on YouTube. But with IELTS, remember, you have to do it. You can't just go on YouTube. It's easy to access, it's easy to watch, and therein lies a danger. You may feel that you're practicing your IELTS, but actually you're probably not. You're just getting the skills and the information, and then there's a huge step after that where you need to actually put it all into practice. Okay, so this does not happen with YouTube videos. You are putting in time, but I don't believe you're putting in effort. You are learning a lot, that's true, but you're not solving your problems. But it doesn't. If it doesn't work, who are you going to ask? It won't answer all the questions you have, and I've done this myself, especially on technical things. I've gone and found a YouTube video, I've watched it carefully, I've gone back, I've done everything they've said, and nothing happens. It doesn't change. And then you're stuck. All you can do is go and find another YouTube video to try and answer that question. So it's not an answer to everything. And it won't cover all the points that you want. So it might help you with 1 or 2 reading questions, but it won't help you to do the writing. It will just tell you what to do, but then you have to do it. And maybe if you don't do it well, it's still going to be a problem. So the key thing about all of this, any online resources, any video resources, is that it's not focused on you. And it's not focused on your problems. These are just general things that everybody experiences. So, thank goodness, amen to that, because in a lot of cases, you can't do it without access to an expert teacher. You need sometimes to have somebody who's working for you, who's looking at what you need, what you're doing wrong, what you need to fix, and you'll only find that if you have somebody who's actually focused on you. This is definitely true. If you have an expert who knows what they're doing, they can make things go much faster and much more easily for you, because they can tell you, don't do that, do this. If you do that, you're going to make mistakes. You have to do it this way. And that's immediate. You can learn that straight away as soon as you speak to them. This is another important thing. I think teachers are very good at boosting confidence because they will point out what's good about your practice, as well as helping you with what needs to change. And they can help you to fix the problems that you might have been struggling with for a long time. And actually, and this is quite key, a lot of people don't hire teachers because they think it's expensive. But if you take the exam 10 times, I think you could probably have had teacher time for quite a long time to cover that amount of money. So think about what's important. Is it important that you get this test? Do you want to take it 10 times? Do you want to spend the next 3-4 years working on it? Or would you like to get it in your very next test? And then balance the money that the teacher will charge you with how important it is to get it done and get to the next stage. And frankly, IELTS is a block for most things. It will block you getting onto your course, your master's or your PhD. It will block you from your immigration. It will block you from being registered as a doctor or a nurse or an engineer. It will block you from many things. So you really need to think about that before you go the DIY route. And working with a teacher will most definitely save you time, because you won't have to figure things out. You'll just have to ask the question. So if you're stuck, If you're not making progress, if you're putting off your IELTS practice, this is a really key thing actually, because if I'm waiting for my students writing or my students reading, I will email them and say, where's your writing, where's your reading? So you can't put it off as easily if you've got somebody there asking you for it. And if you're using any other avoidance tactics, then maybe it's time for your IELTS teacher to appear. And I hope that perhaps you might want to talk to me about maybe working with me or just putting in place a proper plan so that you can get this done. So if you do, all I ask is that you fill in the short questionnaire, tell me about your IELTS at the moment, what's going on, what's challenging, what's going well, and then book a time that's suitable for you so that we can have a chat and I can let you know what's possible with me, but at least I can help you to formulate a plan that's going to be more effective for your IELTS practice going forwards. So a link at the bottom, just click the link and it will take you to the questionnaire. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.